Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. President Donald J. Trump has given an ultimatum to his political enemy, and that is to flee the country or else. And this is the latest escalation in a long-running standoff, and it looks like there has been some attempt to broker a deal between the parties. But before we get into this story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Well, in the background of the Thanksgiving holiday, there has been brewing war, potentially, between the United States and the socialist country of Venezuela. Now, President Donald J. Trump has delivered an ultimatum to the president of that country, Nicolas Maduro, to flee the country immediately, and the country's airspace is going to be closed. Now, according to the Miami Herald, Washington's warning was delivered in a phone call between Trump and Maduro, and Trump was offered a guarantee of evacuation for himself, his wife Celia Flores, and their son, but only if the dictator agreed to resign on the spot. Now, if you know the backstory of how Maduro came to power, it was during a disputed election. Many election observers called it fraudulent. But of course, he's a socialist, and that should not surprise anyone. They cheat, lie, and steal to come to power, so what else is new? So the conversation between Donald Trump and Maduro stalled, according to reports, and within hours, Washington escalated the tensions significantly. Now, the source that told the Washington Post said that Maduro was asking for, quote, global amnesty for any crimes he and his group had committed, and that was rejected, unquote. Now, in the aftermath, more than 10 U.S. warships, including the country's largest aircraft carrier, the U.S. Gerald R. Ford, they are surrounding Venezuela and really rattling the saber against Maduro and trying to pressure him to resign. Well, this isn't just an idle threat, because a Marine Expeditionary Unit that is capable of an amphibious land assault has been deployed as a part of the effort to stop the flow of drugs into the country from Venezuela. And this is all a part of asymmetric warfare, and China is also a part of this equation. Now, Secretary of the Navy John Phelan said, quote, the military's job is to defend the homeland, and he added, quote, that's exactly what we're doing, and we're using our best assets to defend the homeland. And he also noted that, quote, drugs kill more Americans than we've ever lost in wars. So I think at the end of the day, the president has correctly identified that this is an attack on the country, which it is, unquote. Now, a little bit more to the story is the international relations context, because Venezuela's socialist president, Nicolas Maduro, is blamed for sending narco vessels into the country from the United States. Of course, fentanyl, we know China provides some of these chemicals to certain countries in America's backyard, such as Mexico and Venezuela. And Chinese President Xi Jinping said in March that China and Venezuela are good partners of mutual trust and common development. And China will, as always, firmly support Venezuela in safeguarding sovereignty, national dignity, and social stability. Now, Xi also made similar remarks meeting with President Nicolas Maduro on the sidelines of the celebration marking the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Soviet Union in World War II. And Maduro said Venezuela supports the joint construction of the Belt and Road Initiative. The Venezuelan side also supports the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative that has been proposed by Chairman Xi. Now, Xi said China has always viewed and developed relations with Venezuela from a strategic and long-term perspective. Now, we should also understand the economic ties between Venezuela and China, because it's been reported this fall that a private Chinese firm produced oil in Venezuela under a rare 20-year pact. In August, Reuters also noted that China Concord Resources Corporation has been developing 2 Venezuelan oil fields, has planned to invest more than $1 billion in a project to produce 60,000 barrels per day by the end of 2026. And that is according to an executive involved in the project. So it is extremely unusual, to say the least, because the project marks a rare investment by a private Chinese firm in the OPEC country. And that is because Venezuela has struggled to secure foreign investment because of sanctions on Maduro. So it is a web that needs to be untangled to understand the backdrop. But there's no doubt that Maduro has been engaging in asymmetric warfare against the United States, has been facilitating narco trafficking into the United States, which is undoubtedly killing Americans. So, weigh in with your own thoughts. What do you think about this brewing war? Are you willing to go to war over this? Do you think it will stop the supply of fentanyl in this country? Do you think there's a broader context or a reason why President Trump is so interested in going after Venezuela? I think there are some serious regional political concerns with China and the ties with Venezuela, and about socialist dictators that rig elections to come to power, while allowing them a free hand to cause further chaos in the region. And we always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.